Hey guys, my name's Mike, and welcome to the open mic. What's up, guys? We're back here with another episode of the Open Mic Podcast. I'm the host, Mike, episode number 4, and I have another very special guest. It's just like the guests just keep getting more and more special, but very excited for this guy, so I'll let him introduce himself right now.
Oh, hello, I'm Joel Soul. Should I say what I do?
Yeah.
Let me say what they do.
Yeah, let him know.
For comedy, I've been doing stand-up comedy.
Okay. Yeah, so how long have you been doing stand-up comedy?
I think like a year and a half, maybe a little bit more than that.
And was it all in like St. Pete, Tampa?
Yeah, I went to Japan last year and did a little bit of stand-up comedy there.
Oh, really? Wow. Was it like an open mic or?
It was an open mic, but I emailed them in advance, so they gave me like a decent slot with a little bit of extra time because I came so far.
Yeah, wow.
That was fun and fine. And I didn't get out more.
Yeah, so do you speak Japanese?
No. No. It seemed like there's like gozaimasu, which is like the word that we rarely use pretty much that for good morning and thank you and everything. I don't want to speak Japanese. Domo arigato.
I've heard that word.
Roboto. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say, that does sound familiar. So, so that's pretty cool. Would you say that there's a good comedy scene in Japan?
I'm not sure if I had a good enough one to be able to like say that. The club we went to was really cool. They did like English and Japanese shows there. I think I was on a show that was in English because I wouldn't want to be on a show that was in Japanese because I don't speak that.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it'd be kind of tough enough doing it, like doing comedy in a foreign country, but for you to not really speak the language but would you say like a lot of the Japanese people do have, like they can speak English?
I think so. I think most of the people I spoke to, I was able to. I didn't get like really frustrated over there in terms of like being able to communicate with people as needed.
Yeah.
So I think that probably means they speak English in most cases when I encounter, because I just don't speak Japanese.
Interesting, yeah, because I don't know about you, but I think now that I'm in Florida, I want to learn how to speak Spanish more again because I took it in high school and kind of forgot, but I mean, there's been a few times at Walmart where I've been trying to ask the workers like where something is, and it is a little frustrating because when you're trying to find like a hammer and I didn't know what hammer. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know hammer.
You gotta type it in your phone, Google Translate. It's a whole thing. But that's cool though. I didn't realize you did comedy in Japan. I guess that makes it kind of fitting that we're shooting this episode in the yoga room.
I suppose. I'm trying to do comedy in India. I'm going to India really soon. I'd very much like to tell jokes there. They're doing yoga over there for sure.
Oh yeah, I bet they are. Yeah, it's. Have you been to India before?
No, not physically.
But maybe like spiritually.
Almost definitely.
Yeah, that's cool. Have you ever been to the Florida art exhibit in St. Pete?
No, I've heard of it.
Well, I went today. It was very cool. It was they had like it's like the immersive exhibit you walk through, and it's like each room's got its own like section. I feel like that's kind of like I feel like that kind of like takes you to like a spot that's like outside of like St. Pete. Like it's
Portal.
yeah. There's like little rooms where you could like look out and like it looks like you're like under a bridge, like the 275 bridge. Yeah, I definitely recommend it. It was pretty cool. So I wanted to like talk to you about like I know because obviously so you consider yourself an artist.
Yeah, full on artist.
So it doesn't just stop at comedy, right? You do other art forms.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been doing comedy for like a year and a half or so, but for a long time before that, I made a lot of music and played music shows and really lived and breathed the music for a while in terms of my like output. But I did an art show one time with some drawings. I've done a bunch of art, and I love making art, and I don't think that I'll ever like have just one creative or artistic outlet. And yeah, I think it's good to diversify one's outputs and inputs.
Yeah. So like I guess like having like those different like ways to express your art, is there something that like inspires you to create like each day, like where you get up that's like this is like what drives you to like
Why
make
don't I
these?
just sit down and
Why don't you just sit at home and watch movies and jerk off and don't create? Like
yeah,
what is it that keeps you going?
why make stuff? If I don't, I know that if I don't, I feel worse and things are worse. That's certain. So, I mean, I think that's probably reason enough, but also I really like making stuff. I like when there's nothing or there's nothing going on. And even just like making a plan and then carrying through with it is just like, that's world building. That's living. That's living, making stuff and doing stuff. There's everything that goes in and everything that comes out, and I like when a lot of stuff comes out. I like to have a lot of output, and maybe that's like there's something wrong with me. I'm not sure. I certainly have like attention craving stuff happening, but it's like into very specific. I want to do a specific thing, or like make a song, or write a joke, and it's like I want everybody in the world to pay attention to that song or that joke, but not like something that not observing my existence really. And so putting myself into work or output to create songs or jokes or moments of laughter or paintings or whatever, that's like me being who I am.
Yeah, I feel like because I feel like like me personally, I feel like I work 9 to 5, and then there's days where like I don't want to do anything, like, but then then you feel kind of shitty about yourself and what am I here for? So I know personally, like it does feel like better just to create something and be able to, we're here for a short amount of time,
Yeah.
and being able to whatever is within you, because I don't know, I work a corporate job too, so
Yeah.
it's you're kind of forced to speak a certain way, act a certain way. So it is nice, once 5 o'clock comes, to be able to go to a comedy show or go to an open mic and have your free speech and how you want to sound. And like you said, you want people to hear what you have to say, and listen to you. And comedy, you get that direct feedback, where music it's probably a little different, right? Because it's you might be making the song at your home, you're not getting that instant feedback with comedy.
Yeah, and comedy almost requires that feedback too. Music, you can get so good at guitar, just you can just lock yourself in a room with a guitar and walk out if you just put in the time. And comedy, I feel I don't know if that's necessarily possible to do without people. I think there's something really special about being with all the people in the room doing it. It's the room, and people are the instrument almost with comedy, and the comedian's playing that instrument. So yeah, I can show up to a room, I've shot content in the club with no people in it, and it's really hard and it doesn't come out great. The people are the instrument for comedy, and the comedian is the person manipulating people to ideally laughing.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, and the instrument is different each night, which makes it a little different too, where a little more challenging, where you might have a crowd that one night really loves all the dick jokes. Maybe the next night you have an older audience that they like something else, and kind of depends who was the comedian before, the energy in the room. And it's that makes it kind of different each night. Because you could write something in your notes too that you think is super funny, but you really do need to try it in front of people outside of your head, which I think that's the tough part too. Do you ever your joke writing process, what's that like for you?
Usually I'm just going about my day or life. A lot of times if I'm doing a really repetitive task, if I'm driving or if I'm in the shower, washing the plate, this stuff, the cyclical stuff, the things that we do all the time. A lot of the time I'll have thoughts that will kind of be very pervasive within those. And so I'll sit with it for a little while, and if I can amuse myself with the thought, then I'll jot that down. And sometimes I can take that amusing thought and turn it into a structured joke. Sometimes I'll take some of these amusing thoughts and just go up on stage without a silly framework of talking about them and build it there. But usually I have an idea beforehand, all right, here's an amusing thought, but here's how I can frame it for maximum impact, which is a joke, right?
I see. So sometimes like you might come up, so you come up with the idea, but you might need to like say it on stage first before like you finish.
Yeah, I have to, like today. I'm weighing whether or not tonight I wear the Link costume to go on stage and tell jokes. So today I was like sitting around thinking like, all right, can I pull together enough stuff that is directly relevant to being in this costume to make it make sense? Because if I go up there in a Link costume and tell the jokes from last week that have nothing to do with being a Link costume, then something's wrong. Like that'd be something I would have to acknowledge and lean into right away.
Right.
So if I can give myself the ammunition to lean into that, then I can justify doing that, for the thrill of it all, right? But
Right.
I got stuck on an amusing thought that I'm pretty sure I'm never going to be able to actually turn into like a joke that I can tell an audience. And that is, I was thinking about Zelda and somehow I began thinking about like, it just pops straight in, it's this. It's a live action Zelda movie, but Ganondorf is played by Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti.
I haven't been able to mentally or spiritually get past Paul Giamatti's Ganondorf.
Yeah.
So like, I don't feel like I'm going to be able to take that and turn it into a bit, and so it's just a new thought that I carried around for a few hours today, and ultimately it's likely that I wear normal clothes on stage because I don't even know, who sees. I don't know what people know, and that bothers me. Like, I could dress up as Link, and half the people in the audience would be like, "Well, you're an elf. It's not Christmas. You're an elf," and it's like, all right, like, how do they let these people into our society and stay? Like, it's happening. I think there's a massive contingent of these people out there who just don't. And so it's like, all right, I feel like Zelda and Link is like, that's pretty popular and everyone should know, but they don't. And it's like, how far does the ignorance go? Really, basically to the depths of possibility in that I used to think that I could do like cool references, and like the majority of people, like if I'm just going out into the wild and people are just going to see comedy and not necessarily comedy from my specific worldview, and I can come from places of time and space that are just completely foreign to them, that doesn't go well usually. So trying to meet people in the middle where they're at, figure out what they do not know in real time as a group. That's the exercise, kind of.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's tricky too, because like you hear like the best comedians, and like you should like write material that's personal to you and like write about your life and like through your lens, but it makes it tricky, like if your experiences and things you think about aren't things other people think about, and it's like not relatable, even if it is good material. So
yeah, my life is, I spent 3 or 4 hours today sitting around stuck in Paul Giamatti as Ganondorf. That was my set. That was the early part of my set. I had to go to sleep to shake it off.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, what was it? Friday?
Saturday.
Oh yeah, well today's Saturday, but I think it was Wednesday. I was at Clearwater. I told a bit about like a manager like asked me for money to see my penis, like Holiday Inn manager.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I was thinking like, this is hilarious, because like it actually happened.
So wait, who's paying who?
The manager paid me for me to show my penis.
That's good money.
Yeah, $20. Like that was like something that really happened. And granted, like I know I probably gotta make the joke better, but I just I feel like no one like has had that experience before, so it's kind of hard to make it relatable. But
Well, who knows if do you think they just asked you and you're the first and last person, or do you think they try to get a bunch of glimpses? Like, do you think if I went to that Holiday Inn and I was real flirty, then I want to get
100%,
asked?
100%, yeah. So the way he asked it was not the first time, like, because he was asking me if I like knew. I was in college at the time, so he was asking me like if I knew like these other kids that I went to college with, and I'm like, oh, I'm not the first guy he's asked to see it. So yeah, I think he knew he was in a position of power, and he knew like we're like broke college kids, where he's like, yeah, I could, I'm sure this guy would do this if I give him some money, you know.
Yeah.
Caught me when I was vulnerable a little bit.
Well, I think that's honest. You know, it's honest trade, as long as you know your boundaries and your worth and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, when I told my dad about that, he was. I didn't know how he was going to react, but like he thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, I think that's pretty funny.
I'm-
Well, because like there's not really a victim. I guess you're being victimized by him asking you at all, right?
Right.
In some small sense, but ultimately, it's funny that a guy. I think that's funny. You know?
And what's funny too is like you can tell he's definitely like had some business experience because he first asked if he could suck it. He's like, if you let me suck it, I'll give you $50. And that's where I was like, okay.
You gotta draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, like head's head, but I mean, I wouldn't be able, I would feel like, I can't believe I did that. That was a little grimy. But like 20 just to see it, where like he's not't and it's not, like we're not like making it like intimate. Like I don't see a problem with that, but it's not an everyday circumstance.
Yeah, that'd be crazy if it was every day. Everywhere you went, you like go to the bank and they're like, hey, before you leave,
Yeah.
what's your price?
Yeah, we have a new program.
We're all whores. I think that we're all whores. We all sell our time. Some of us sell our bodies in addition to our time. Some of the wear and tear on our bodies comes with all the time. You know, if you're a delivery driver getting in and out of the truck, your knees and your time go down this drain, and then money comes out of the faucet, and you hope that it's enough. And I think that anyone would do virtually anything for a price. It's just about finding. I don't know if that's bad. We
Yeah.
all do all sorts of things that we wouldn't otherwise do for money.
Oh yeah. I feel like 99% of the things people do, like maybe not. Yeah, I mean it's a huge amount of things wouldn't be done if people weren't getting paid for it.
Yeah.
And even if it's not sexual, it's like, yeah, like you said, like backbreaking labor or even going to your desk every day to type and get a carpal tunnel in your wrists. Like, yeah, it's but you kind of need to do that, I guess. I mean, you got to find a way to make a living. But I tell you what, I mean, after that $20, I was like, that was by far the easiest.
What a way to make it. If you could scale that, it's like, all right, well, that took 15 seconds. 30.
That's what got me thinking. I was
It's like, all right, you can make, that's like $30,000 an hour.
Yeah, and
You just gotta scale it,
right. I mean, so it does make sense. Like, why, if you're able to do it and you can make it profitable, yeah, I totally see it now. Like, and the people that are jealous or talk down, or they're probably just jealous that they haven't figured out how to make it profitable for themselves.
Yeah. Well, and so whether it's that, comedy, music, scale is the thing. And generally that comes from, marketing and running a business and investing into the marketing of the thing. And I think that I could probably have a decent go at what you do with a hotel manager or illustration or comedy or music or whatever. But ultimately, making the stuff, right? Making stuff I like that. That's in my nature. Selling the stuff to the world is, and scaling it effectively.
Mm-hmm.
That one guy gave me $20, but it might have taken me multiple decades to find that guy. Right? And so if your plan is well, I'll just, every time that I want to hand I'll just be real funny, then you might only ever find another one or two guys like that.
Oh, that's true.
But if you find a way to connect with the group of all the guys that pay other guys to show them their readers, then you're doing fish and go. So now I didn't come here to make sense. I don't think any of that did, but marketing is I'll bring it up again. Hopefully not, but I think marketing is the way, all these forms of turning your creating value. Telling people jokes and making people laugh, that feels good and it's nice. And it's something I do for that reason. I'll always tell jokes and make people laugh. But doing the stand-up comedy thing, just sort of it's that. It's it's a barrel and you hope that it gets full of fish where you should have some thoughts into it and make them laugh, and then somehow I feel better after that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, the whole Holiday Inn thing, that's kind of a specific audience, obviously, well, not to assume, but I'm assuming he was homosexual male. Not every, there might be other homosexual males, Holiday Inn managers, but there could be women that don't want to see that. It could be men that don't want to see that. And so, I kind of right place, right time, but I think that's also what's cool with comedy, though. It's I was at Sunshine last night, and there was 5 or 6 redneck trucker looking dudes, and then there's 4 or 5 super black dreadlock looking
cool
dudes, and then there's a lot of people in the middle, but it's just cool how different demographics can come together in comedy, and I feel it really tied everybody together, watching the headliner go about it. And I think Yeah, there is some that's like, and there is so much online stuff nowadays. There is something to be said for like in person, like live shows that you just like feel that energy and like it's just kind of like a good feeling leaving, you know, after everyone's had a good laugh together.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you because I know you just came back like a little bit ago, but so you were at the Kill Tony show recently, right?
Yeah, I've gone a few times to stay in Austin for a few days and try and watch the Kill Tony show and try to put my hand in the thing.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So it's I guess like you know, I've watched on TV so many times, but how's it compare? So a lot better in person.
Yeah, I really like going and seeing the show. Yeah, the band plays before the show. The band is great, and it's just like it's a pretty small room, and really jammed in there. So it's great. I like going. It's hard for me to consider going without tickets to the show, just because then it's like, because we gotta fly. We're in Florida, so getting out there was like, it's not bad, but it's a thing. Getting over there.
Yeah, how many people would you say like can fit in the club there? Or is
I
that
think it's like 300 people.
okay?
It's not a lot.
So would you say it's like almost the size of like Side Splitters, maybe a little bigger?
Mm.
Like the main room?
Yeah, about maybe somewhere around there. I'm not sure. It's always dark around these places.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's small. It's like a movie. It's got higher ceilings than Side Splitters.
And yeah, I guess trying to think how to say this. Like, so the last time you went, you signed up to be on the show too.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah,
Yeah, I always sign up. Well, one time I forgot to sign up, but well, it wasn't forget, but it didn't happen due to error. But yeah, I'd get tickets, and if I get tickets, then I go out there and see the show and try to get on the show.
Do you do any other? Did you do that any other like mics or shows when you were out there?
No, not unless last time I was there for like Sunday night. I went to go see some channel, and then Monday it was Kill Tony, but I left Tuesday. So.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the Waymo. You ever do a Waymo?
Waymo.
It's like a self-driving car.
Oh yeah. They had those in Austin.
An Uber comes and picks you up, and there's no guy, and you're all just like, you pull that car.
That's cool. So, did you have to request that special, or did it?
No, I just I went there and requested an Uber, and they're like, "Hey, you want this one?" And there's no guy. And I'm like, yeah.
Wow.
Because a lot of those guys make me uncomfortable.
Yeah, like what are some of the things that the Uber drivers do that make you uncomfortable?
We were on the way here, blasted over a curb.
Oh, jeez.
And that was cool. He was not paying attention, I guess, or something like that. I don't know. I've had a lot of them are just bad drivers, and like, that's not good. Like, I feel like if you're a bad driver, you should do something that isn't driving.
You would think, right?
Yeah, I've been in some pools. Sometimes you get in and it's just like reeks of weed, and they're like just playing music, and it's like, all right, they're like just doing their thing here, and just kind of borrowed it. Which is fine, I guess. But
Right.
sometimes you get into an Uber and they like give you a whole speech. One thing that bothers me and that I'm really pushing for, this is still I think just an amusing thought, but we have like, we're supposed to have separation of church and state.
Right.
Let's get going on separation of church and Uber because it's like every other Uber I get into, they're blasting like full on, like very overt, like Jesus.
Oh yeah.
I'm just like, hey, I love Jesus, but if I get into an Uber, like leave me alone. Like if you want to play the popular music, sure, everybody loves music, but like, come on, don't do that. I had a guy hand me a pamphlet I got it and he was blasting me.
Ah, yeah.
And he's the guy mentioned I was going to India. He's like, well, hold on, you need this pamphlet. 'Cause Jesus will keep you safe over there from that differing perspective. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, leave me alone.
Right.
It's cool to love Jesus. It's cool to enjoy the Jesus music. But if you're Ubering people around,
don't force it on them that person's just going about their day. I totally agree. Yeah, some Ubers you get in, they have like I think it's called like the rosary, like the big like,
oh, the beads?
yeah, the beads and the cross around the dash or
That's fine as long, but don't like hit me with like, if I get into an Uber and it's like, my God is an awesome God. It's like, come on, like put on some other music when you got guests who you don't know what their religious background is like. There's a lot of different religious backgrounds that people might have. And I'm not offended by the Christian music, but like, someone could be, or some people could maybe prefer to not get blasphemy of God.
Yeah.
In your back seat.
Yeah, it's like it could be like on the way to the bar, like you're just getting a ride home, like you don't need. Yeah, I totally get that, and I feel like sometimes they get you when you least, or like when you're most vulnerable. Because I remember like being in an Uber once, like end of the night drinking, very drunk, and it's kind of a rough night. And then the Uber driver was like one of those Christians that like was like trying to like tell us to like come to like his like group like on Wednesday and like trying to like save us and like how drinking's bad. And it's like, you don't want to hear that at 3 a.m. like after you spent at the bar all night. Like, you just take me home and maybe if I want to like pursue that, maybe I'll look like the next morning. But it's like, not gonna remember this.
You ever get into a shared Uber and then get in there and sit down and put your hand on a woman's leg?
I'm trying to think.
I've never done that. I wouldn't do that. I mean, if I got in there and there was a lady and she was like, sir, will you please put your hand on my leg? Probably.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't get in there. You shouldn't be handsy with anybody, especially in a shared Uber.
correct. Yeah, but
If they get out first, you're legally allowed to also get out at their house. And if you get out first, then same deal. If you get into a shared Uber, just keep riding shared Ubers around basically and wait for someone cool to get out at their house and then hang out with them.
oh man, damn. So that's a good way to make friends.
That's a definite way to make friends.
Right.
Just follow it. If you get in a shared Uber and there's a cool person there, or maybe a hot person, I don't know what you like, but if they're cool and you're hitting it off or wish you were, then they get out of their house or what might be their house, and you just get out with them, and they can't force you back into that car.
Yeah, it's kind of like a Russian roulette situation. You're like,
That's why I don't do it. I do not take a shared Uber because there's so much potential for horror with that.
yeah,
That I wouldn't take a shared Uber to my house or from it. So, like, if I'm going from one bar or something to another one across the way, maybe that's the time I should.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's true. Like if you're going somewhere, maybe.
If you're going home, like if I'm going home from a bar and I do a shared Uber and someone gets in there with me, I'm going with their house. You know?
Dude, yeah, and then
And you saved yourself $3, but now I know where you live.
yeah, and it's like, yeah, you could get out at that time at night, or, I mean, you could take note of that and then just, now you know forever where they live, and you might have like a,
Right.
Pete and Tom scenario.
I don't have that. Well, no, I don't have that. I really like if it's like consent. If it's like, like their idea, especially.
Mm.
Cool. I'm more the other way. I like to share.
I wanted to ask you, so have you lived in St. Pete your entire life?
Mm-mm.
Where were you before that?
I was born in the great state of Wisconsin. And then I moved to Florida when I was 10 with my family. And I've been in Florida mostly. I spent a lot of time in Sarasota, grew up mostly in Sarasota. I moved to St. Pete in 2017.
And because I know you've traveled to a few places, would you say St. Pete is the place to be?
Coming home to Florida is quite nice. I've grown to like that. I didn't used to like calling Florida home, but the more places I go and see, the more traveling I do, the more appreciation I have for coming home to Florida. So is it the place to be? I think it depends on who you are and what you want and what you're trying to do. I think that I don't know, I don't go like downtown a lot. I don't see a lot of murals. But I know that they're there, I know downtown's there. But I feel like probably my rent is higher due to things in proximity that I do not necessarily enjoy with high frequency. So I'm not completely sold on St. Pete being the place to be. To answer your question. But I'm there and life is good and it's fine. I think that it's probably Florida's best city. I was on another podcast today and I was talking poorly about Jacksonville. I'll do it on this one too. I don't think that's a good place. I'm never gonna go. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna go. I'm gonna live a life having never been to Jacksonville, and I'm gonna be better off for it.
Hey,
Certain. And Jacksonville, if you want to come to me and try to change my mind, and it only proves my point, you psychos, right? So that place sucks. St. Pete, better. It's a good place.
yeah, I mean, I've lived here for I moved down to St. Pete in September, so a little over a year. And compared to where I was living before in New York, I would say I mean, and I feel like I was in St. Pete all day today exploring, and yeah, St. Pete is really nice, like the downtown area, like the bars and the food places and the museums. And I guess what made it not as good for my experience is I was living in a house with my girlfriend and 3 other guys.
Nice.
So, yeah, so it was a little crowded. Refrigerator was crowded. Like everyone's trying to cook dinner at the same time.
Did your girlfriend ever get crowded?
Nah. Oh wait, no, yeah, she definitely did not like it.
I meant about like all those guys. Like, did you ever do like? Was there ever all the roommates piling on?
I sure hope not. Not that I saw.
That's good.
Yeah, no, I mean, and then all the roommates had girlfriends too, so it was very crowded. But I mean, St. Pete does have like a lot of good stuff. So yeah,
It's fun. Pinellas County is cool. It's cool. There's like the parts of St. Pete, what I would consider St. Pete that aren't downtown, or like Pinellas County as a whole. It's great. I like the vibes of it for the most part. There's like Pinellas Park. You know, if you want to go to like a whole bunch of really good Asian and like Hispanic restaurants, Pinellas Park, we gotta go now. It's like a whole thing.
yeah. I guess like when you're on stage for comedy, like what's your goal? Is it to like get like the biggest laugh, or like do you want like the audience to like when you get up there, like what do you hope, or like what do you want to happen?
I hope it goes well. I think that like I'm gonna be amused at the idea of it all, pretty much no matter what. So like if things go really well, if people laugh, if people like me, and people laugh, and people are happy, and I did that a little bit, that feels good. I like that. But I also, I'm very used to like if somebody has a bad time, if I watch somebody walk out with a child or whatever, they're an adult child. If people get upset and stuff, I like that too. But ideally, I think everyone just laughs and it's like it's telling him that, gives me money and offers to crush me. I think if everyone can just be really nice to me all the time as a result of me saying all the craziest things I can think of, then everything would be cool. But I don't go on stage to necessarily accomplish that. I go on stage to say what I have to say in the amount of time that I have to say it. And that's kind of number one, I guess.
Yeah, like when you're up there, like obviously you hope it goes as well as possible. If like the audience is like offering to touch you after, like that's like an added bonus.
That's never happened.
I mean,
Yeah.
not right. Like you said, you've only been doing it a year and a half, so I'm sure that situation could have come about.
I've been begging.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of your stuff like when I've been out there on some of the shows you're on, and I will say like it definitely gets to, you definitely get them thinking about it, and with that being said, like, do you have any like comedians that influence you with your material, or do you like watch anybody that you like that maybe like inspires you to do comedy, or is it like uniquely, Joseph?
I have influences. I grew up with like David Letterman and Conan, watching those. Obviously I watched comedy films and stuff, but like Letterman and Conan Norm Macdonald. If I had to pick a favorite stand-up comic, I'm pretty sure it's Norm. Um, yeah, it's so funny.
That's my all-time favorite. Also, I've been saying.
Yeah, yeah. Norm was the man. I think without Norm, like a lot of people really like Shane Gillis now. Like I think there's no Shane without Norm. I think there's a lot of stuff that's missing without Norm establishing his voice and presence and mind on the stage that he did. But Louis, really funny. I like that. I like all the stuff that he's done, especially that stuff.
Yeah. I was gonna say something about Norm. Oh yeah, so because you're saying how you kind of need like the audience and the feedback to play them, but remember Norm did that special like I think maybe like a year before he passed, the one that was just like on like a Zoom webcast. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel like he kind of
He knew how to be funny and be funny. It just like even just his podcast, some of just the ad reads for his podcast were just some of the funniest. Like just the way that Norm was so funny. But his mind was just so funny. His stand-up was like fine. It was a decent stand-up. But like Norm is a comedian. All the way. Just
yeah, he's kind of like being a little bit because you watch him in interviews, you think like, no, this guy like an idiot, but he's like actually like yeah, so smart, like reads a lot of books and like that's just it looks like it's just like that, but like that's just like who he is, and like he's kind of intentional with it. So yeah, that's cool. He's definitely, if not the GOAT, one of the GOATs.
Yeah, I really like Letterman, Conan, Warren, Louis, Bill Hicks.
Oh yeah.
Bill Hicks, yes.
Just look back. Yeah, he died like a while ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
George Carlin, that was Steve mentioned George Carlin. So, Bill Hicks and George Carlin both got really far kind of away from jokes and really having true stuff. I'm trying to think about.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and like those are like two guys like early on that were like so influential, and like now there's like so many comedians, so many different style. Like it just seems like it's one of those things where like there's so much like AI and like stuff online, but like I feel like comedy is like to be able to like go to a comedy show and like see like actual like people. Like I feel like would you say that's like the reason you think comedy is so popular nowadays?
Yeah, I think comedy is also like a form of like mental programming. It can be, and mental programming is a big deal. Like for example, there's like you can make somebody laugh at a joke, and it's just like that's funny, and that's all good. That's great. But you can also, with a joke or with comedy, you can get somebody to sort of like laugh away a restriction on the worldview or a belief or something. Like, I think that comedy can help bring people in many different ways closer to the truth, even if it's through an absolutely lie. Like, do I think it's funny if I would threaten you that I'm going to come back here tomorrow and I'm going to kill you? Yeah, I think that's funny. Only because I know that I wouldn't do, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But for me to be like, I'll kill you, that's funny to me, and brings us closer to the truth that I would never kill you. Well, unless you do something to wrong me in the slightest way, then I'll change my mind.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, it's just like everyone, being uptight, easily offended, but like to be able to, kind of clears the air, like lets everyone relax. Like,
There's thing like I was saying with George Carlin and Bill Hicks, like a lot of it got away from jokes, but into like they were really trying to like, in some ways, change people's beliefs about things and inject their beliefs into things. And it's like, oh, this is funny, but like, oh, this is making me change the way that I think about advertisements. You know, now when I see advertisements, I'm gonna feel it about them because this guy made me laugh at the way that they are, the way he thinks they are. And that's way more than like, wow, that's humorous. That's like really changing a person's mind and their life. So yeah, you really do that. And music, similarly, I think, mental programming, sure, you can make a bunch of music that, whether it's through the vibe or the words or both, image and all the stuff that goes into presenting music to people today, you can really change someone's mind, about something potentially, the way that they feel about it, which is it's really powerful, especially when you see that there's darkness in the world and that there's light in the world, and everyone has different ideas about what these things really are, and what is good versus bad. Like but you got your stuff, and you can just kind of be like, well, I'm going to present my case about all this stuff, and that's just something.
no, that's good stuff because like the best comedians are like the ones that like I like watch them do a bit where it's like they're talking about like a topic that is like people feel strongly about, like like politics, like but like a comedian that can make fun of like both sides of the political spectrum and kind of like show that like both sides like have silly beliefs, or like they're kind of like like it kind of like makes you think, like if you're like on one side of the spectrum, like maybe that is kind of silly, but and then it kind of makes you realize like maybe we're all not so different after all. I think there's a lot of good that can come from comedy, like bringing the truth in a funny way to people. Yeah, guys. Well, there you have it. That was Joel Stoll. I'm Mike, obviously. And that was another episode of the Open Mic Podcast. Appreciate you sharing your insights and views, and good stuff. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Like and subscribe, and we'll be coming out with episode 5 very soon. So have a good night, and we'll see you guys later.